You wake up already tired, not in your body, but in your patience. Small things drain you faster than they should. Conversations feel heavier than before. And by the time the day even begins, your heart already feels worn. Nothing is obviously wrong. There was no argument, no bad news, no moment where everything fell apart. And that's what makes this exhaustion so confusing. You still function, you still show up, you still answer when spoken to. So to everyone else, you look fine. But inside, you're tired of holding yourself together, tired of being the calm one, tired of listening without being asked how you're doing, tired of carrying emotions that never seem to have a place to land. When someone asks, "How are you?" you pause just for a second. Then you say, "I'm okay." Not because it's true, but because explaining this kind of tiredness feels harder than carrying it alone. Micro hook. The most exhausting pain isn't the one that overwhelms you. It's the one no one ever sees. 1. When tiredness becomes emotional. At first, you think it's your body. You tell yourself you just need more rest. An earlier night, a slower morning. So you try. You sleep longer, you cancel plans, you give yourself quiet. But the tiredness doesn't leave, because it was never physical. It shows up in your patience, in how easily you feel overwhelmed, in the way small things suddenly feel heavy. You notice it when you sigh more often, when you need more time to respond, when conversations feel like effort instead of connection. This tiredness doesn't come from doing too much in one day. It comes from doing too much for too long, without emotional relief. You've been holding things together quietly, listening more than speaking, absorbing more than releasing. You've learned to function even when your inner world is asking for rest. And because nothing looks wrong, you don't feel allowed to be tired. You think, others have it worse. I should be grateful. I shouldn't complain. So you push through. But emotional tiredness doesn't respond to willpower. It builds slowly, when feelings stay unspoken, when needs stay unmet, and when being strong becomes a habit you never get to break. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because your heart has been working overtime, without anyone noticing. 2. Why emotional tiredness grows with time. Emotional tiredness doesn't arrive because one day goes badly. It grows quietly, over years of being the one who holds things together. You've been the one who listens when others need to talk, the one who stays calm when emotions run high, the one who doesn't want to make things harder for the people you love. So you carry things silently. You don't process everything you feel, you postpone it. You tell yourself you'll deal with it later, when things slow down, when others are okay, when there's time. But later doesn't erase feelings. It only stores them. And as life changes, when routines shift, when roles fade, when fewer people depend on you, those stored emotions begin to surface. Not as sadness, not as anger, but as tiredness. A quiet sense that your emotional energy is lower than it used to be. You still care deeply. You still show up. But no one asks how much it costs you now. So your heart keeps giving, while slowly running out of places to rest. Emotional tiredness doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you've been the strong one for a very long time. 3. The quiet signs of emotional exhaustion. Emotional exhaustion rarely looks dramatic. It looks like patience that runs out sooner. Like conversations you once enjoyed now feeling like work. You notice it when you need more silence than before. But don't feel refreshed by it. You pull back socially, not because you don't care, but because you don't have the energy to explain yourself anymore. You also notice how often you tell yourself, "I'll deal with this later." Later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. And nothing ever really gets released. Joy doesn't disappear. It just feels farther away. You still smile. You still function. But you don't feel restored afterward. Even rest feels unfinished. And perhaps the clearest sign is how normal this tiredness has become. You stop questioning it. You adjust your life around it. until one day you realize you've been surviving emotionally instead of living. The most dangerous exhaustion is the one that slowly becomes your normal. 4. Why no one sees how tired you really are. One reason this emotional tiredness goes unnoticed is because you don't look like someone who's struggling. You still respond politely. You still keep your voice steady. You still show up when expected. From the outside, you seem fine. That's because you've spent years learning how to manage yourself quietly. You don't unload emotions in public. You don't ask for space out loud. You don't want to make anyone uncomfortable with what you're carrying. So you soften it. You say you're just tired, you brush it off, you move on, and people take you at your word. They don't see the effort it takes to stay composed. They don't see how much energy goes into holding back what you feel so the moment doesn't become awkward. Over time, being unseen starts to feel confusing. You wonder if your tiredness is real or if you're just failing to cope. But the truth is simpler than that. You're not invisible. You're just very good at making things easier for others, even when it costs you. When exhaustion stays quiet long enough, even you start questioning whether it deserves attention. 5. Why you keep it to yourself. You don't stay quiet because you don't trust people. You stay quiet because you don't want to complicate things. You've learned that most people are comfortable with clear stories, problems they can fix or advice they can give. But this tiredness doesn't fit neatly into words. It's not one emotion. It's not one moment. It's the accumulation of many small things that never had space to land. So when you consider speaking up, you hesitate. Not because you're afraid, but because you're already tired. You don't want to explain why you're worn down when nothing bad has happened. You don't want to justify why you need rest when others think you're doing fine. So you choose the easier path. You keep going. You stay quiet. You tell yourself it's manageable. And most days, it is. But keeping everything inside requires constant effort. And that effort is part of what's draining you. You don't stay silent because you don't need support. You stay silent because explaining feels heavier than carrying it alone. 6. When you realize you can't keep living this way. At some point, you don't suddenly heal. You simply realize that continuing like this is no longer possible. Not because something breaks, but because something inside you has grown too tired to ignore. You notice it in small moments, when even rest doesn't feel restorative, when silence no longer brings relief, when you feel drained before the day has even asked anything of you. This is not the moment of peace. This is the moment of honesty. The quiet recognition that your heart has been surviving, not living. You've been adjusting yourself to fit expectations, lowering needs, explaining less, carrying more. And now, that strategy is costing you. Not dramatically, but steadily. You're not collapsing, you're thinning. Your emotional energy doesn't recharge the way it used to. And forcing yourself forward only deepens the fatigue. This is the moment many people misunderstand. They think healing starts here. But it doesn't. What starts here is permission to stop pretending that this level of exhaustion is sustainable. Before you can rest, you have to admit that you've been pushing yourself past what was ever fair. 7. Staying with the discomfort instead of escaping it. Your instinct may be to move past this feeling quickly, to make it better, to calm it down, to find a way out. But emotional tiredness doesn't heal by being bypassed. It needs to be stayed with. This is uncomfortable, because sitting with exhaustion means facing how long you've been neglecting yourself. It means acknowledging that being okay has come at a cost, and that cost is real. You may feel sadness here, or regret, or even anger, not at others, but at how much you've asked of yourself without support. This isn't self-pity, it's awareness. And awareness is not gentle at first. It asks you to stop rushing toward relief and instead listen to what the tiredness has been trying to say. That something needs to change. Not immediately, not perfectly, but honestly. You don't need answers yet. You need presence. Because only when your exhaustion is fully acknowledged does it begin to loosen its grip. Healing doesn't begin with comfort. It begins when you stop leaving yourself the moment things feel heavy. 8. Letting the tiredness finally rest. If you've stayed with this tiredness until now, please hear this gently. You were never meant to carry life at this pace for so long. You didn't fail at being strong. You simply reached the limit of what quiet endurance can hold. This exhaustion didn't come from weakness. It came from years of showing up without being replenished. From listening more than being listened to. From holding space without having a place to set things down. And nothing about that makes you broken. It makes you human. You don't need to push past this feeling anymore. You don't need to explain it perfectly. You don't need to turn it into growth or strength or a lesson. Sometimes, the most honest thing you can do is let yourself stop. Stop proving. Stop coping. Stop carrying. Not forever, just for now. This chapter of life doesn't ask you to be resilient. It asks you to be truthful about how tired you've been and how much you've given. And if no one has fully seen that before, let this moment count. You are allowed to rest here. Nothing more is required of you.